All right, guys, I wanted to come on here and to give you guys my thoughts and review of the open network test of the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds beta. Now, I would think this as a beta because, everything already feels good. True, there could be some changes to the game before the release, but, that's why I wanted to make this video to give my thoughts and concerns. Well, I don't necessarily have concerns, it's just I have like some feedback. For starters, I think the game is phenomenal. I was so excited for this game when it was announced. When I was playing Team Sonic Racing when it first came out, I was like, thinking, this game is kind of good. But over time, the game lost so many players due to the fact that it had not really good online multiplayer support, but the story in Team Sonic Racing was okay, but, it did feel a little bit confusing at some points, but I'm not complaining about it. I'm as somebody who's been a fan of the Sonic franchise since I was a little kid, I'm not complaining. But other than that, I think this racing game definitely does have a lot of potential and has what it takes to possibly beat Mario in the Mario Kart franchise. I've seen what people have said about Mario Kart World, and it's not looking good for Mario Kart World really. And if when it comes to the Game Awards, do I think Mario Kart is going to be up there as a contender? Probably not, because a lot of people went back to Mario Kart 8 instead of Mario Kart World, because I don't really necessarily know why. But, we're getting really off topic right here. But do I think Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is going to be a good game? Absolutely. I see a lot of potential in this game. I love how it works. I love when you go into the second lap, you go through the travel rings to go to the CrossWorlds track. Hands down, my favorite one is probably Sky Road. I love the music in there. I love that it's over Spagonia, and it's really, really amazing. And, I'm very excited for the full release of this game. I'm very excited for all the DLC characters that are coming out, all the collabs. I think this game is going to be very, very fun. And I'm going to be probably blowing a lot of content out of this game for a while, and maybe stepping away from Fortnite just to play this because, I had so much fun with this. I grinded so many levels on this game in the open network test. It was amazing. True, I couldn't play through getting to legend rank, but it is what it is. I loved this game. It was amazing. I love how a lot of people came together to play this game, and how it already has higher Steam players than what Team Sonic Racing had. And it definitely had a lot more players than, from what I've heard, that it had a lot more players than Mario Kart World. And hell, even a lot of people managed to mod the game into playing it early and to play all the Grand Prix early, because they couldn't do online because nobody had access to the servers yet. They couldn't get in because the servers weren't online. But other than that, this game feels like a really good kart racing game. Do I see potential for new tracks coming in soon? Absolutely. Do I see streamers and content creators coming to play this game? Absolutely, because this game was really fun. A lot of streamers who played Mario Kart and content creators who played Mario Kart, I've seen videos about them playing this game and saying that it feels a lot better than Mario Kart World. I love the customization in the game. It's amazing. I love all the tracks that were playable in this game. It was so much fun. I wish that we got access to more Grand Prix tracks, or any tracks that you could play in the multiplayer. I loved Apados. That one was so fun. It did feel a little bit tight in some areas, in the beginning, in the narrow streets you're going through. It did feel like a lot of people just kept bashing into you and you were stuck on some walls, but it is what it is. I liked it. It was so much fun. There was an instance where I was playing on Apados where I believe I may have encountered a cheater in the lobby, because they were just doing sideways driving and teleporting around. Now, I don't know if that's because network erroring, or they were having bad connection issues, but they were just teleporting places, and then they ended up getting second place in that race. Now, I don't know if Sonic Team like counted for cheaters being in the game, because this is going to be like an online game. Like this is going to be like a Sonic online game for probably a really, really long time, until like Sonic Rumble comes out. But what I've seen so far is that cheaters have definitely been coming in to, mess with people. And I think there was an instance where some cheaters were able to shut down people's games like that they were in, and bring down their fair play like percentage, because if you were in the game and you saw in the friends options, like all the way on the last tab, there was a setting, there was an option to check out fair play, like percentage. I was a victim of that actually, because I was in a race and then I got a network error when the race first started. I was on Rainbow Garden and then it somehow network errored me, and then I was able to go back to the main menu, and it said that you didn't finish your race quite properly, and it brought down my fair play points from 100 to 98. But maybe it was because of a hacker. I don't know, because my internet was fine. My internet's working fine, but other than that, like there was only like one instance of a cheater that I've seen, or somebody shutting down like somebody's race. But other than that, I like this game. The game feels phenomenal. The controls feel great. Steering assist on does feel good. Auto acceleration does feel really good. But if you want to go for a bigger challenge, then turn steering assist off, turn auto acceleration on, and see how you go from there. But I played half of this with steering assist and auto acceleration on, because I was going into this blind. I never played the test on the PlayStation, but the game felt amazing. And then I played a little bit of it without steering assist, and it was amazing. The only things that I do definitely wish for this game to have before it fully releases is, if you're playing with your friends and you want to like back out so that your friend can join the lobby, make it so that you can have an option to back out immediately, instead of just holding the B button on the controller to cancel matchmaking, and then just open up a little prompt saying, are you sure you want to exit the queue and return to the lobby? And you can have the option to click yes. Then that should not affect your fair play points, because in this current build of the Open Network test, there was an option where you had to hold the B button to cancel queue, but it just kept queuing automatically and putting people in races. Now, I understand that a lot of people saying like, yeah, well, we like the game and, there's no really issues with that. I feel like that was probably the main issue that I probably encountered. But, those are like the only cons I've seen, like, a nice anti-cheat for like hackers, or, like having the ability to back out with a prompt that's selected, and, having all of that. What do I expect to see on launch date? Well, for me, I get to play the game early. I get to play the game 3 days early because I have the digital deluxe. And, what I hope to see is like access to all the Grand Prix tracks, access to like all the maps on time trial, or, park race mode, because we never got to see that in this Open Network test, even though I think Sonic Team did say on the Open Network test that there were going to be 4-player split screen, park race mode. The only other issue I would definitely say I've noticed as well is because there is a tutorial pretty much where you have to finish a Grand Prix in order to get access to online mode. Now, I feel like that's like an interesting kind of concept. Like, you're going up against AI first to, get a feel of the game. I understand like, Sonic Team is doing that to like kind of make people like, feel adjusted and ready for the game. I totally get that. And I like that, but make it so like, it's just one race, not just like a whole Grand Prix. Make it just one 3-lap race, and then boom, you're good. You're able to access all of it. Don't just make it like a Grand Prix where you're going through 3 tracks and then 3 different CrossWorlds, and then you're going to redo all those courses again for 3 whole laps. I feel like it should just be one whole race between like, you know, the AIs of the game, you know, get a feel of the rivals system as well if you're playing in the Grand Prix mode. I think it should just be one whole race. The items are amazing. I like the items. The one thing I definitely wish would be fixed up is probably the monster truck, because there were some instances where I've noticed that the monster truck tends to last for a short amount of time, even if you are in last place. But if you're higher than last place, then you notice that like the monster truck tends to last a little bit longer than before. I wish there was an instance where that could be fixed, because I don't know if Sonic Team did notice that or was receiving word about it from some players. But if anybody has noticed that, like, please let me know in the comment section below, because, you know, I pay attention to like what a lot of people in the Sonic community are saying. Because I've seen a lot of people do that. Like some Sonic tubers do that, like what they've seen and noticed and thought about in the game. And you know, I'm all for that. Like I'm backing up that people, because I'm a part of the Sonic community too, 100%. A lot of the items definitely felt perfect. I like this. I like the saw that you throw to cut up somebody's car in half, and then it automatically regenerates the car. It looks really cool. I like the effect on that. I also did notice that the boost Wisp does tend to last a certain amount of time when it comes to the extreme gear, because the extreme gear is a boost type vehicle, and if you do use boost, then you do get an upgraded amount of speed when you do use it. Like I do feel like it definitely goes a lot more faster when it comes to like other vehicles that you are using the boost on. Like, and I get it, you're also using boost characters that have like boost character types in there. Like, you know, I get that. I wholeheartedly get that. I think like, you know, it was a good concept. It was a good idea. I liked it. It was really cool. I love all like the characters, like unique traits that they do have when it comes to, you know, the customization, when it comes to a lot of like the unique items that you use. For example, like I know I did just mention this, but when it comes to like the boosting wisps and you're using the boost extreme gear, like that is really cool. Like how they did implement that unique type. I just feel like, you know, it feels a little bit too overpowered, but I'm not saying it's like, you know, like overpowered like a lot. I'm saying it's a little bit, but not like too much. Like maybe tone that down a little bit as well. A lot of collab characters are coming into the game. We have like a big roster coming in. Leakers already showed that there are a lot more slots for the exclusive characters, like DLC characters coming in. And, you know, I'm very excited for when it comes to that. I'm very excited to see, like, how the SpongeBob shit is going to be in the game. I'm very excited to see, like, you know, if there's any other, like, Sega, like, games in there or any other, like, game, like, mascots that are in there, because Pac-Man's coming in. You know, I'm very, very excited for that. I'm excited to see, you know, what, like, if they add more Persona characters or, hell, even more, like, Yakuza characters. But above all, like, I would absolutely love to see, like, a lot of, like, more Sonic characters coming in. Because, for example, we have the IDW series where we have the introduction of Tangle and Whisper. You know, I would love to see all of those kinds of characters in from, like, the IDW. Because now that Ian Flynn is taking over, like, the writing for the Sonic games, I would love to see, like, a lot more of characters from the IDW series into Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Because the IDW series is technically canon, because there were references in Sonic Frontiers of Tangle and Whisper being used by voice lines of Sonic in the islands. You know, if you're being idle and you see like all the ruins and all the trees, Tangle's gonna want to, like, you know, have fun around there. Sonic did mention that, and I would love to see that. I would love to see like a lot more Sonic characters coming in, you know, maybe because they are doing skins for the game. What if Sonic Team does bring in Hypersonic for a super form? Because there was, if you do complete a Grand Prix, then you do get a super form skin. I would love to see a super form skin, because there was shown that Omega was going to get some skins, and they were going to add a super form character into the game. You know, if they bring in, like, you know, Super Sonic, Super Shadow, Super Silver, or hell, even like Superfied, like Tails and Knuckles from Sonic Heroes, even though that was the worst game I've ever seen in my goddamn life. But, you know, still, make it so there's a lot of like skins and a lot of characters that do come into the game, you know? Don't be afraid to like, you know, open up like the roster of like skins. And another thing is, when it comes to skins, I don't want this game to be like, you know, like suffering what Ubisoft, Fortnite, and Activision and Call of Duty, what all those like first-person shooter games are doing when it comes to like microtransactions. Like, I don't want this game to be affected by microtransactions. Like, you know, I want this game to be, you know, like free to, like, you know, like you earn stuff, and if you earn like the currency in game, you can literally just buy that stuff in a shop that only costs that currency because you earn that after races. Like, use the Dodonpa tickets. If you use the tickets in a shop, you can buy the skins because you earn those tickets. Just don't, Sonic Team, please, for the love of God, don't make it so there are microtransactions in this game, because it would just be kind of like, you know, maybe pay to win. Maybe a lot of people don't want that. I've seen a lot of like Sonic YouTubers say like, you know, they don't want pay to win stuff in their game, and I am all for that. Like, I don't want to see, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog like microtransactions, you know. But if Sonic Rumble is probably going to be doing that, because it's pretty much just going to be like a Fall Guys clone. But, you know, I just don't want to see Sonic Team just doing the same mistake that Fortnite, Call of Duty, Rainbow Six Siege, Halo Infinite is doing. Like, I don't want to see that. This game has been a beloved franchise of mine since day one. So please do not add microtransactions to the game. It's going to, you know, like make the game probably lose players. You know, just make it so you earn the currency and spend it in a shop that only uses that currency that you earn from races. Those are really all my thoughts and concerns when it comes to the game. I'm very excited for the game. If I could rate the game, like as of right now, I would absolutely give this game like a 10 out of 10, because the game feels phenomenal. It feels amazing. I just want, you know, what I've said, and, you know, if people can back me up on this with like the, you know, the good networking for servers, and, you know, an anti-cheat, or not having microtransactions, or like, you know, buffs and nerfs on like tools and items that you can use in the races. You know, if some people can back me up on that, you know, then go ahead. But if you guys think that, you know, everything's all fine, go ahead. That's your opinions. This is just my opinions. I'm stating my own opinions. And, you know, if people don't like my opinions, go ahead. That's fine. Other than that, I think this game is probably going to be phenomenal. I can't wait for the full release, guys. And I hope to see all of you guys on the track. And, you know, who knows? I hope you all are racing good, and I hope you guys had fun with this open network test. And, you know, don't feel shy to share your concerns with like the community about how you think the open network test was, you know, because I'm doing that right now. I'm sharing my thoughts and concerns about the open network test to you guys. And if you guys have your own opinions about it, you know, state them in the comment section below, and, you know, maybe I'll reply to them. Who knows? But other than that, thank you guys for your time, and I hope you guys have a good one. See you guys.